And then he says to me, oh, I think that one's non-alcoholic, and like looks down at the menu and looks back at me. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is. And he's like, well, why don't you get a drink? And I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And he's like, what? And I said to him, like, yeah, I don't really drink. Like, is that a problem? He seemed so upset. He's like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't tell me before the date.
Like, take a shot or I'm going to put your face in this griddle.
I just got back from a second date from hell where I literally had to leave immediately, block and delete this guy because he went through my purse and gave away my WEED.
And he goes, so is it like time for us to make out yet? What? And that's literally what I said out loud. I started laughing.
You see the lack of humanity in men in these scenarios. Because if you were a human being and you saw women as human beings, you would not try to get a woman drunk just so you can sleep with her. I really do feel bad for women. I really do. And it's not like I pity them necessarily. You know what I mean? Like it's really not that. I just feel like I feel for them because the stuff that women say, the stories that they tell, stuff that they say that they go through, just to go out on a date with the man. Like, I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Like, this is really nuts that men really don't recognize that the fact that there are still women interested in dating us in spite of all of these terrible experiences is really a testament to how much grace women give men and how much they actually are actively trying, to accept us for who we are. And I just want to say men aren't worth accepting. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not, we're not worth accepting. Women don't need to like give us grace. I don't feel like they do, but they do. They're going to continue to do so. Part of it is socialized, and part of it is just it's in them because they have empathy. But I can't act like I don't hear all of these stories. I can't act like I don't see the crazy shit that men do to women, and you know what I mean. Like I can't act like that. I have ears and I have eyes. I do, and time and time and time again. Story after story after story, men just keep proving how problematic we are, how dangerous we are to be around. And then when I get on the internet, I'm talking to men and I hear men try to make all these excuses and oh, it goes both ways. I just get so frustrated. I really do. I'm just like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, I've never seen this in the other direction, ever.
This guy yelled at me because I wouldn't have a drink on our first date. So let's rewind a little bit. We met outside the gym. We were leaving at the same time. He said something to me. I kind of looked over. We started talking. Very good looking guy. Kind of more of like a bro than my usual type. Very stereotypical gym bro. But seemed like a really nice guy. Asked for my number. I gave it to him. Texted me the next day and asked if I wanted to go to this place by the gym for happy hour. And I said, sure, because even though I don't drink, I'm always happy to do a happy hour and I just get a mocktail or like a snack or something. And I guess maybe I should have said, oh, I don't drink, but I'm happy to go to happy hour anyway. But like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't drink now. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, especially because like, I don't have any like real like compelling deep reason I don't drink. I just don't really feel like it. I don't think it's good for my health. Anyways, we go on this date. I'm having an okay time. He's like a little bit douchier than I remembered him being or than he was acting when I first met him. I'm trying to keep an open mind. The waitress comes over to take our order and she's like, oh, we have like these specials for happy hour. And I'm like, can I get, and I order a mocktail. And it's called like a blueberry something. And I just order it. And then he says to me, oh, I think that one's non-alcoholic, and like looks down at the menu and looks back at me. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is. And he's like, well, why don't you get a drink? And I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And he's like, what? I say to the waitress, I'm like, can you give us a second? Sorry. She leaves because I'm like, I'm not going to like do this in front of someone who's like just trying to take our order and do her job. It's uncomfortable. So she leaves and I say to him like, yeah, I don't really drink. Like, is that a problem? He seemed so upset. He's like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't tell me before the date. And I was like, oh, like I didn't really think it was a big deal. Like, obviously if that's a deal breaker for you, no worries. I just go to happy hours with friends literally all the time. And I go on first dates to happy hours. Like I didn't really think anything of it because like I'm always happy to like get a mocktail or like get an appetizer or something. He's like, well, I don't understand like why you lied. And I was like, excuse me, I didn't lie. I just didn't know that I needed to like explicitly tell you that I don't drink. Anyways, we did continue the date. It was wildly uncomfortable and I ended it after like 35 minutes. And it's not great. I don't know what you think. I mean, now I'm always going to say that I don't drink. I guess lesson learned, but like, I can't imagine caring. Like, even when I did drink, if a guy showed up to a first date and was like, oh, I don't drink, I'd be like, yeah, no worries. Like, let's both get mocktails. Or like, I'll get a drink and you don't have to, whatever. Like, oh my God. Anyways.
What? Why would, okay. I mean, I'm not shocked by that, to be honest with you, because I know I got a sneaky suspicion as to why he was upset that she doesn't drink. And it wasn't because he felt bad, like, oh, damn, I invited you to a bar and you don't even drink. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the reason. That's why he was upset. Because if if it was about her, the reaction would have been different. If it was like, oh man, I didn't know, are you in AA? Like, you know what I mean? Are you recovering? Like, whatever, right? He wouldn't have that, the reaction would have been way softer than what it was. But his reaction was anger. His reaction was like utter disappointment. And so that was that's the telltale sign right there. It's like, okay, so what is this really about? Like, why do you have such strong feelings about me not drinking? If a woman told me that she did, I don't drink personally. So I don't I don't care. You know what I mean? Me personally, I totally understand people not drinking. And there have been several times in my life, even when I drank, when I stopped, when I didn't drink for like a year. You know what I'm saying? Like there were times like when I think I didn't drink from 24 to 25 or 25 to 26 or something like that. And then I started drinking again, and then I stopped again, and I didn't drink like when I was in my 30s. I was like 29 to like 31. I didn't drink, and then I started again, and then I stopped drinking again when I was 33. So I've been, I would go 2 years off 1 year, on 1 year, off 1 year. I did that many times in my life. I started drinking when I was 23. So somebody telling me even during the like dating phase that they didn't drink, I would be like, oh yeah, no worries. Like, I don't care. It wouldn't bother me at all because it has nothing to do with me. Like you not drinking has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. Um, so there's only two ways that for me, it would make any sort of sense. If the man's an alcoholic, right? If he's just like, oh man, like he just drinks. So I'm not even saying like he recognizes he's an alcoholic, but if he's an actual alcoholic and he just can't imagine being around people who don't drink, that's, that's something different. Like he just drinks so much. It's like, so you're never going to drink? Because I drink all the time. I drink 3 or 4 days a week or 5 days a week. Like that's concerning. That's one way of looking at it. And this is the other reason why, and what I think the real reason was.
I just saw a video about a lady who went on a date, and she said like she could tell halfway through the date the energy switched, and he was just there to try and get some cookie at the end. And oh my gosh, that's dating in a nutshell at this point. And of course, the entire time he was trying to get her drunk. I went on a date with this guy, and the worst part was like this was like our third, fourth date. Third, fourth date, and like he had slowly been like hinting like he wanted me to come over or hinting like he wanted to come over. It's our third, fourth date, and we go to like one of the Korean barbecue spots where you cook in the middle of the table. And he ordered an entire bottle of sake. And as he was ordering the sake, I told him, I said, "You're gonna drink an entire bottle of sake?" And he was like, "No, you're gonna help me." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not. I will take one shot with you because I want to taste it." So I drink my drink, we take our sake shot together, and almost immediately he pours me another shot. And I'm like, "Oh wait, I told you I'm only doing one." And he's like, "Oh, you don't have to take it right now. Just hold on to it." And I'm like, "No, no, no. It's not a matter of right now. It's a matter of no." He pours himself a shot. He's been slamming back shots. I'm like, "I'm not taking that. So you can have that back." He's like, "Take the fucking shot." I'm like, "No, I'm not taking it." And then he was like, "Take a fucking shot or I'm going to put your face in this grill." Because we're at the Korean barbecue where you cook in the middle. He's like, "I'm going to put your face in this grill if you don't take this shot." And I stopped and I was like, um, what? So now I'm like, you have just actively threatened me because I don't want to take a shot. Because I got in my car that night, I called my friend and cried as I drove home because I was like, I was so scared. But like, also like, nah, men are insane. Men.
That's what I think it is. And that's crazy, by the way, that he threatened her life because she wouldn't take a shot. But when I say crazy, I'm just saying it's still disturbing as fuck, but it's believable. It's plausible because men are nuts, like she's saying, 100%. But anytime a man is like that, like has this vested interest in a woman getting drunk around him, oh, he's a creep. In my mind, I'm like, oh, why are you trying to get a woman drunk? Why are you trying to get her so drunk? Like, what are you, And look, I'm gonna make whatever concession for the men that I know people that like men and women. They just want to see you get lit. They just want to see you have a good time in their mind. And they think that it takes a drink to get you going. You know what I mean? Like some of us can just have a good time. Like I could just have a good time. I don't need to be drunk to have a good time. As long as the music is right and the people are cool, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna vibe in those types of environments. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the men that are like, just one more ship, just one more ship. Y'all remember that old the Martin had a stand up a long time ago, his first like major stand up, and I remember like that was a part that he talked about getting a girl drunk in there, getting a woman drunk. He like literally like had a joke about a woman getting drunk, and that was his line, was like, just one more sip. He wanted her to take one more sip of the alcohol. That's an old thing, you know. Now in my older age, I'll be honest with y'all, like there's so many things that I read, like if not if I could go back, because I would do the same thing essentially when I was younger, you know, because I was younger. I was 23, I was whatever when I met my wife. I was a little kid. But like now in my 40s, if I were to date again, I wouldn't want, like, again, I don't drink. So I wouldn't be interested in getting a woman drunk. I mean, that doesn't mean I wouldn't be interested in getting her drunk, I guess. But like, I'm just not interested in getting women drunk if they don't want to drink. Like, if she wants to drink, hey, go do your thing. But I don't, you know, I would never press a woman to get drunk. I wouldn't even like necessarily even like offer a woman a drink because I don't drink. Like, I wouldn't even think to do it. You know what I mean? Because I don't drink. But I would like not like now I want to only be sober, especially early on with the woman. Like, I don't even want her to drink with me early on. You know what I mean? Like, I only want to see her sober early on. I feel like people so comfortably get inebriated around each other. And when you think about it, it's kind of wild. Because forget the safety, right? Because let's say you're in a restaurant and it's public. It's just showing them that side of yourself. Like, literally, alcohol lowers your inhibitions, right? Your ability to discern and things of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't want to do that. Like, I don't want it to be the alcohol. I want her to know if we vibing, that it's really because we vibing. It ain't the ambiance and the liquor and all. Like, it's really like we just vibing. Like, you genuinely like me. I genuinely like you. You know? So yeah, I wouldn't, me personally, I would be like, again, I would never tell a woman don't drink, but in my mind, I would like prefer her not to drink, right? Because I'm really truly trying to get to know her. So again, if I come across men that are like pushing a woman to get drunk, I don't care what age you are, you're a fucking nut. Like you definitely are a predator without a doubt. Those are things that we call red flags. Like all of these scenarios are just like the immense, the intense redness of red flags that men show women. And yes, these stories make it to the internet because they're not the common experience. But I think, like I'm saying, like the specific scenario is not common. You know what I'm saying, to women, but the vibe, the experience, not the actual action or act itself. I'm not saying that. I do think men plowing women with drinks is very common, but removing that from it, just in general, I think the through line in all of this is just how problematic men are on dates early on, and they be revealing themselves a lot. Like, men just can't help it. And usually it just takes like the smallest amount of rejection. Just the smallest amount of rejection will really show a woman how dangerous or how weird or whatever a man is, how problematic a man is. Um, but there are so many like instances and like so many red flags that pop up in these scenarios because men are so fucking crazy.
I'm just gonna be slurring my words a little bit, but I just got back from a second date from hell where I literally had to leave immediately, block and delete this guy. Because he went through my fucking purse and gave away my WEED. Who the fuck does that on a second date? We decide we're gonna go to the bar and then we're gonna get food and then we go back to his house because his roommate's having like a freaking bonfire party thing. Cool. We get back to his place and I give his roommate a pack of gummies because last time I was there, I've only been there once before. I was probably not very cordial with my volume, so I felt bad. So I just wanted to like be like, sorry, here's some gummies. Okay. 2 hours at the bonfire, then we decide let's go watch a movie back with my date, and it's just me and my date in his room. We're watching the movie. I want water. He goes to get me water, and then he turns to me and he says, oh, by the way, I gave a pack of gummies to my friend out there. Now, I'm slow, unfortunately, especially in the moment, especially if I've had anything in my bloodstream. And I was like, okay. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, oh, I gave a pack of your gummies away to my friend out there. And immediately, I like kind of stood up, and I'm like, wait, you gave my gummies away to your friend out there? He's like, yeah, it was just one pack. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And I was like, you didn't ask me? I was like, you just went in my purse and you didn't ask me and you gave one away? I was like, is that what you're telling me you just did? And he's like, I didn't just do it. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I did it like an hour ago. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, let me get your water. He's like, I just owed him. Let me get your water. So he leaves, and immediately I'm up. I'm now getting my shit together. I'm also double checking everything that I fucking have, because I'm like, you obviously probably like took more stuff. Thank God he didn't. Everything else was there. But so he like comes back in the room, I'm packing my stuff. He's like, oh, you're leaving? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm just gonna be so for real with you. I was like, I am not comfortable. I said, I don't really know you that well. This is the second date I've ever known you, and you're already like going through my purse, and then you're giving away the stuff that I bought with my money to your friends to pay your debts. I'm like, it's just moving way too fast for me. Like, this is not what I'm looking for at all. And I just think it's better if I probably go. And so then he, of course, he pulls for his wallet. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, let me pay for it. I really didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I said, yeah, that's kind of the problem. I said, the problem is that not that the money. I said, the problem is that you genuinely did not think this was a weird thing to do. I was like, I don't even really rummage through my friends' purses. Like, I will literally, they'll tell me to get something from their purse and I will bring them their purse. It's like, maybe it's just a personal preference thing, but like, I was like, I just think that you going out of your way to go into my purse to give something away of mine to pay a debt is like way too much. So then he's like trying to get me to stay, and he's like, at least let me make it up to you tomorrow, or like take you to breakfast or something. And I was like, you know what? I was like, we can probably talk at a later date. I was like, but for right now, I just want to go home. Because at this point, I'm like, you're going to take everything when I'm fucking sleeping. Like, fuck you. So whatever, I get in the Uber, and immediately when my Uber hits the butt seat, I'm going to these freaking Bumble, and I unmatched, and then I deleted, and I blocked him. But like, these men, I shit you not, they do not want a girlfriend. They do not want a wife. They do not want a partner. They do not even want to be a princess. They literally just want a mommy in which they can also fuck. Because I'm sorry, but the only people who I know who are rummaging through women's purses are like the children of the women usually. Like, I did that shit when I was a preteen. I did that shit when I was a fucking toddler, a child. I don't know a damn 30-year-old who does that, who isn't like fucking, honestly, I will say the only other adults who I know who do that are, bless their hearts, people who are dealing with addiction. Either way, I don't want nothing about it, but I just think that's fucking crazy.
There ain't nothing. Look, stealing their stuff, crazy. Stealing her stuff is crazy, right? Going through her purse might be even crazier. That's all I'm saying. Like, stealing her shit is wild. That's nuts. But you know, you like, he had the money, whatever. You give her the money back. Okay, maybe you could make up for that. But going through her purse is wild. But let me say something. He knew it was bad. He knew it was bad because he did it without telling her. And I think the only reason why he said something was because he knew she would find out at some point. Like, the longer she stayed, the greater the likelihood was that she would discover that one of her packs was missing. And then he would have to explain it after the fact, which would have made it 10 times worse. So to me, it was damage control. It wasn't like he was like, really didn't think it was a big deal. Like, he knew it was a big deal. And he really thought about it. He was like, here's what I'm saying. If he could have gotten away with it in his mind, if he would have thought for 1 second, like, she's not going to figure this out until she gets home, she'll never figure it out, whatever the case may be, he would have done it. He wouldn't have said anything to her. It was the fact that, like I said, he knew at some point in time that night she would figure it out, and it would just make the thing 10 times worse. That's just what it was. He knew it was weird. That's why he did it without telling her initially. And then he just tried to do damage control after the fact. But damn, that's weird as fuck. Like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you?
The audacity of men is absolutely ridiculous, and dating them is just so freaking trifling. So I didn't even really want to go out on this day, but this guy had been asking and I kept putting him off. And I was like, you know what? Like, I need to get out there. Let me just go on this date. It can't be that bad. So he picks a bar for us to meet at. I get there and I end up waiting like 20 minutes for this guy to show up because he's running late. He walks in, gives me a hug, sits down, and immediately turns to the bartender and orders 2 drinks for us. Doesn't ask me what I want. Just go ahead and orders. And again, it's fine the first time, I guess. Like, we had talked about my love of dirty martinis. It's on my profile. So he orders that, sure. And so I started making conversation with him, and like 30 minutes goes by, and I realize he hasn't asked me one effing question about myself. And at this point, I'm ready to leave, but then I think he finally clicks for him that he should probably ask me some questions. So he starts asking me some stuff back. Then he's like, oh, should we get another round? And I was like, yeah, sure. And again, this time he doesn't ask me if I want the same drink and just goes ahead and orders it for me. And I'm like, well, what if I didn't want that? And he's like, well, it seemed like you enjoyed the first one. So at this point, I'm just like, ugh, God, okay, let's see how quickly I can get out of here. But I actually need this drink because I've just wasted my time. So I let this guy get me another drink and we're chatting. And it's now like 45 minutes into the evening and he turns to me and he goes, so is it like time for us to make out yet? What? And that's literally what I said out loud. I started laughing and I was like, what makes you think that I want to make out with you after this conversation? And he's like, well, I just didn't want you to think that I was a weak man. I wanted to show you that I'm masculine and I just ask for the things that I want. What in the toxic masculinity bullshit is this? And I'm like, yeah, haha, no, like, I'm not comfortable with that. And I was like, yeah, anyways, I think it's like kind of getting late. And he's like, oh, and he just like jumps in and he's like, oh, let's go to another bar. He's like, let's just take one car. Like, we can take your car because I'm like really tipsy right now. And then we can just go to the other bar. And then I was like, well, how are you going to drive home if you have another drink? He's like, well, we can figure that out later, winky face. No, sir, you will not be sleeping anywhere other than the backseat of your car or motherfucking gutter. So I actually realized that this guy is actually way more drunk. And so I was like, look, I'm trying to get out of here. And then he's like, okay. But he's like not sober enough to drive. And I don't want that on my conscience. So I like flag the waiter down or like the bartender. And I'm like, hey, can we get like some food for this guy? Because he's really tipsy and he like needs to drive home, but I need him to sober up a little. So we get him some water. Bartender brings over like some chips and stuff. And so like I sit there with him for another 45 minutes because I'm a fucking good person. And also I just didn't want the guilt of if he drunkenly drove somewhere and killed someone. And so he does that and we part ways. And he's like, oh, can I get that kiss now? Bro, absolutely not. So I was just like, yeah, no. I got in my car and never talked to him again. And it was also the last time that I decided if I don't feel like going, I'm just not going to go. There's a reason for it.
Okay, now it's just funny to me, like listening to women talk about me. Like, I never had this when I was growing up. I never got to hear the shit that women said about us like this regularly. You know what I mean? I had female friends, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't on the same level. But when you stitch all this stuff together, they're not the exact same story. Don't get me wrong, but you can clearly see these stark differences. So in this scenario, what I got from this was the thing that really like annoyed me, aside from the fact that he's complete like selfish or whatever, no doubt about it, right? But the part that annoyed me was this is what men do, right? I've heard men say this. They try to weaponize being honest against women, and I don't know how the fuck we've gotten to like men are so terrible where we are weaponizing honesty, right? Okay, so this is how men weaponize honesty. I've heard it in like several ways, but the main 2 ways is like this. So what he said was like, "Can I kiss you?" or "I want to kiss you," or something along those lines, right? And she's like, "No, ill." And his reaction to that is like, I'm just being honest. Like I'm just taking what I want, or whatever, right? I'm being honest. This is what I want. I'm being forthright. And I'm not gonna say that women don't prefer that over you scheming, I guess, but it's still bad. And then the other scenario is men who be on that like, y'all don't want to hear the truth. And then the women are like, we do want to hear the truth. And then the men are like, no, no, y'all really don't want to hear it. And then the women go, tell me, I'll let like, trust me, I want to hear it. And the men go, okay, I just want to fuck. And then the women go, ew. And they go, see, you didn't want to hear the truth. And I'm like, that doesn't mean they didn't want to hear the truth. They like, you think that whatever truth you're going to tell them, they have to accept. And if they don't accept it, then that means they didn't want to hear it. That's not, they still want to hear it. They still want to know what type of idiot, what type of asshole, what type of disgusting person they're dealing with. So yeah, they would prefer to hear the truth than the man that's like whining and dining and oh, I really thought, he's doing all the things and yada, yada, yada. Whole time it's a scheme that Ty set up and he just want to fuck her and he's going to block her as soon as he fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a woman would prefer the man to reveal himself to be a pig rather than to be dressed up in, or reveal himself to be a wolf rather than be dressed up in sheep's clothing, right? I think women want that. That's my guess. Because I would, as a human being, I could easily, tell that's the best thing for you. But when you listen to all of this stuff and you see all of these scenarios and how they play out, you see a stark difference. And the difference to me that I see is, and it's the best way I can describe it. You see the lack of humanity in men in these scenarios. Because if you were a human being and you saw women as human beings, you would not try to get a woman drunk just so you can sleep with her. You also wouldn't be shocked when that woman is like grossed out by the fact that you're just trying to get her drunk so you can sleep with her. You also wouldn't get mad at a woman for not wanting to get drunk around you or at all and threaten to put her face in a hibachi grill. You also wouldn't steal from a woman, rummage through her purse, and then try to act like that shit was absolutely, completely innocent. And lastly, you would not just out of nowhere, after being a douchebag for like, whatever, an hour or whatever, ask a woman to fucking kiss you. Like, if you were a human being, if you weren't a robot going through motions, because men just be going through the motions a lot of times, and you can tell if you weren't a robot, if you weren't a fucking NPC character, which is why they call us NPCs, you would know that all of these things are extremely problematic. You would, all the men in these scenarios individually, they would have gone, okay, I'm not going to do that. That's weird. Or if they did do it, you know what? That was weird. No, damn, you're right. Like, I'll even give you the you messed up thing. Like, no, you know what? That I completely understand. I was fucking tripping. I wouldn't even, you know what? You're right. You're right. You got it. But nope. It's what? You're going to leave? You don't want to get drunk. I'm going to put your head in the grill. Like, psycho. So yeah, this is what it's like for women dating. And I've seen a 1,000 of these stories. Yes, again, all 4 of these stories are different. They're not exactly the same, but you see a common theme. You see how reasonable and rational the women are, by the way, further proving the fact that women are actually rational and men are not. And you see how irrational men are. And men are revealing it early on. And that's a good thing for the women, I guess.